Alright, I'm making this video because I'm getting kind of annoyed with a lot of these little white kids that call themselves cisgendered, that don't have any real world application to their college degree except making YouTube videos and bitch cry and complain about how their system is screwing them over and how they want to be these liberal fucktards. Um, Talk about liberalism later on, but today we get to talk about patriarchy, the evil patriarchy. The term patriarchy, is loosely stand for male domination, while the more rigorous definition lies within the literal interpretation of ruler of the father. So patriarchy does not refer simply as a binary pattern of male power over women, but the power exerted more complex by the age as well as gender, and by older men over women, children, and younger men. So these younger men inherited therefore have a stake in the patriarchy continues the conversation, or they may rebel. Simple enough. So in other words, you have one group of men will take care of the society. You can say that's bad or evil, but that kind of puts most of the weight on our shoulders. Seeing if society screws up is our fault. If society screws up, if women take care of it, like a matriarchy, it's women's fault. Or we could look at matriarchies, but this video is about patriarchies, the evil patriarchies. Ooh. Let's look at a classical Greece general named Mino. First of all, let's take the virtue of man. It is easy to say that man's virtue is this, that he is to be competent to manage his affairs of his city and to manage them as it benefits his friends and harms his enemies, and takes care of avoiding suffering and harm of himself. Or take a woman's virtue. There is no difficulty in describing this, as the duty of ordering the house as well as looking after the property of an indoor and obeying her husband. I want to leave it with this. The difference between the patriarchy and the matriarchy is simple. It's the difference of genders. Who rules? And yeah, it's difference between the fatherly figure versus the motherly figure. But the fatherly figure is always the one that went out and took care of things. He was the one that hunted for food. He was the one who brought home, went out for 3-4 weeks on the road and brought home this stuff. He was the one who spent the late hours at the office to make sure that everyone had money to feed on. And when you hear feminism, which in short, feminism is a liberal front. Let's be honest here. I mean, you listen to a lot of these people talk about feminism and liberalism, which is they're talking about separating the genders. They want to separate the class, and they want to separate the race. They want to make another caste system. And caste systems always are in feudal areas. They do not look pretty. I mean, there's some great things of caste systems, which our founding fathers did take. That's why you have, instead of supposed to go into college, you're supposed to go into somewhere like a trade school when you get out of high school or grade school. By the time you turn 18, you already have a skill of a trade for X amount of years. You have an apprenticeship. But we don't have that here because people bitch, gripe, and complain. Mostly liberals. So if you want to be a liberal and feminist and all this matriarchy and patriarchy and all this other fucked up things, continue screwing up the country. And then when the country is screwed up just enough, people's gonna look at you and say, you fucked up the country because you wanted all this stuff. And now we have to live with it. That's all I have to say. Thank you. Goodbye.